Cheers, whiskey friends. Another Tuesday live stream with the Marty and the Toby, the Whiskey Nose, the Legends of the Oak, all the good stuff, all the good clubs, all the good people, all the good friends. We can keep going on and on. Today, if you saw the thumbnail, I reached out to this wonderful human. I guess it was Sunday night, and she had just gotten back from her big trip several days ago, but it's been just a few days, and I was talking to her, and so we decided, let's get back together. Let's talk whiskey. Let's talk other spirits and maybe about her trip. So with that being said, guys, we do have a giveaway tonight. We've got a Jepson's 10-year Benny's pick, a Still Austin bottle and bond from fall of 24, and one of the first LOTO flight boards from the Top Dog. So there's your giveaways tonight, guys. So we'll get those going soon. But let's bring on the Top Jimmy is here. There he is, smashing the drum and everything. You doing okay, buddy?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
That's right. We're ready to go. So let's bring the special one on, the Nancy Fraley. There she is.
Cheers.
She's had a big day already. I know this. So
yeah. It's been a big day. I think all of us got it.
Yeah. So she's finally tasting some other types of spirits today. She's been through some stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I've been judging for the New Orleans spirits competition today, working on tequila, mezcal, and tomorrow I've got a bunch of Amaros to go through. So I guess they didn't want me doing whiskey because they figured I might have something entered there.
Yeah. No, so I just kind of went out. Me and Toby's got some killer samples from the Kevin O'Malley, and we have in that bunch a Benny's pick, which goes along with the store he shops at that we're giving away the Jepsons he's donated. This is a 7+ year. 107.9. So I'll be sipping along on that. I think, Toby, you have the same one. Is that correct? Okay. Yeah. So we'll get into those as we talk. But well, welcome back to the country, Nancy. I mean, let's just start right there.
It was fantastic. So I was doing a little work over there, and then when I was finished with the work, I went up to Liverpool, England. Everyone knows I'm a music fan, and I'm a huge Beatles fan. And I've been there 25 years ago up to Liverpool to see all the Beatles sites. And I did it again and got to go into John Lennon and Paul McCartney's childhood homes, which that it wasn't open when I was there before 25 years ago. And it was just like, for me, it was like living out a bucket list, thing, check off, in life. It was so cool.
Now, the picture I saw you had a guitar with you, was that there or was that one of yours?
Yeah, it was there. They had a couple of guitars for people to play or, take pictures with and such. So I didn't take one of mine.
Who owns that house now? Is it like a national kind of place or does a family own it? They did at one time, I think.
Yeah, it's owned by the British what they call the National Trust.
Yeah,
and so they buy like well-known properties and such, and keep them in good shape, and have people visit and such, and it was just an awesome experience and a hell of a lot of fun. And I have really, I definitely worked my way through all the, the Beatles or the pubs where they love to go as well. And of course, I had to do that part, right?
God, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Was it still pretty much what you remembered 25 years ago, or did some of this environment change, or because time has moved on, and just I'm curious because I love the Beatles. My dad is still a huge fan, but
still a huge fan. Yeah, it actually changed a lot. the area like where the Cavern Club is, where the Beatles, that was kind of a club where they really, when they got back from playing in Hamburg for a few years, they came and played in the Cavern Club. But anyway, that area is kind of like I don't know how else to say it, but like Beatles Disneyland now, and it was not like that when I was there.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's exactly. I was there with one of my master blender friends in the UK, and she's a big Beatles fan too. And we were just talking about like, is this like Beatles Disneyland now? But it was fun. It was great. We had an awesome time.
So let's talk the whiskey. How did it go over there for the tasting and everything you were doing? Because you were doing a little teaching, weren't you? While you were there?
No, I was working. I don't know how much I can talk about it. I
don't. That's okay.
I posted something on Instagram, and I kind of had to walk it back. I got in trouble for posting it. Except to say it's well, we'll put it this way: it's a cross-cultural blend.
I got you.
And so, yeah.
Yep.
So
I know what you mean.
And I don't know if this is inappropriate or anything like that, Marty. But we, me and Toby talked a little bit before the show. Just because it's out there now, and I've my phone has kind of been lighting up with the responses.
Talk about it, yeah.
I don't know if anybody saw the news on Forbes today on their online magazine, but the word is out, that I'm officially retiring from Joseph Magnus, and I'm kind of be taking on like a Master Blender Emeritus role from now on. Well, so I'll still be there through the end of the year. So like Murray Hill special release number 5, I'm actively working on. I mean, I've got some barrel samples that I've been going through, and I'm probably going to be drinking on those lab samples. Sure. So but yeah. After this year, I'll pass on the baton.
Well, here, let me be the first to give you a toast here for everybody and everything you've done for all these years in our whiskey community. Congratulations on the
Thank
big
you.
step.
Oh,
and
what the hell?
Yeah, there you go. There you go, down the hatch.
Thank
Cheers
you.
to you. But you're not going away. That's the thing. It's just a different role, and somebody's going to take over, and it'll all be okay. So we can all take a deep breath and not cry.
Yeah, that's I'll probably be in the a cold hard grave when I like retire.
Yeah. No, good. Well, so it's not fun anymore. I got it. Yeah.
But yeah.
Good. So, okay. So since if you're doing that, is everything else still staying the same in your life in the whiskey world? Or are you picking up any new things you can talk about, or are we just sticking with?
There is something I'll be able to talk about in a few weeks.
Okay.
I can't talk about it right now.
Gotcha. No, it's fine.
But yeah, there is something else kind of big happening too. So I'll be able to come on here and talk about that too soon. So
excellent.
I can't wait.
No, we're just glad to have you and get caught up, because I know you've got a whole lot going on and been gone. And I think, I'm glad you brought that up tonight, because I'm sure people were seeing the post, and this is a great opportunity for them to see your face and hear it from you. And well, the cat's out of the bag. It might as well come from me. So. Yeah. And meanwhile, just before you guys get to your samples for, I guess, like I always say, what are they going to do? Fire me now? So,
at Magnus. What the hell? For people that I haven't told, and I don't know if it's public knowledge, but I'm going to make it public for us tonight. The Murray Hill special release number 5 is. I think I've kind of hinted at this stuff before, but it's two finishes. One is a Michigan white port, and the second one is a Ukrainian ice wine finish.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to take those barrels, and in the end, we'll combine them, and the age of the stock in here, it's a minimum of 12 years, with 20-year-old Q yeast being the oldest component. So anyway, I'll be working hard on that this year, because I really, really, really want to see that through, but before I hand over the reins. So
let me ask you a stupid question, because that's about all that comes out of my mouth anyway. You said Michigan port? Is that what you said?
Michigan white port. Yes.
What makes it? What is a Michigan white port? I mean, is it
So-
just made in Michigan? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I mean, because
Yeah.
I've never heard. That's kind of like a strange. Because I know they're there, but I mean,
Right.
it's like, okay, kind of a local deal. But I've never heard of that from Michigan. So okay, I'm just trying to learn something.
What I was wanting to do with that, I wanted to use something in Michigan State. So it took me about 2 years to find the quality that I wanted, and B, to kind of time it when they were dumping the port at the time. But yeah, it's I wanted fresh barrels.
Okay.
That it
Yeah.
didn't have to, and the Ukrainian ice wine, for obvious reasons, that war took a while for me to get those casks.
I didn't even think
But they
about
are
that.
showing so beautifully. I mean, I'm just all about this ice wine finish. It's really cool. So
How long is that ice wine set in the barrel?
so
Hey.
it's probably the ice wine itself, I don't know.
Okay.
Probably for I would say at least a year or two, maybe, if not more.
Okay.
It's pretty deep in the wood, but I'm just loving how both of these are turning out, and so yeah, I'm so excited about this. And God, that ice wine again, Ukrainian ice wine, is just
Good,
amazing.
Jeff. Jeff says I have batch 28 of Magnus, one of my favorite bottles I've owned. May have a sample I can dig out and cheers with. Awesome, buddy.
Sweet. Yeah, that's a good one.
Over there. I've got 41, I think, 47 sitting up there. Thank you, Trey. Trey is all in for the ice wine finish. Yes, he is. Always.
Yes, sir. That's
Toby, did you get batch 4 of that Magnus? Or the Murray Hill, sorry.
Murray Hill Club. I think I definitely did. I think it's gone. I think I drank that thing.
That would make the most sense.
Yeah.
It's that good.
Yeah. And when I was putting everything together, I think I only had like a quarter of a bottle of Magnus left too. Yeah. They're up there.
Yeah, that I love
Yeah.
4 with the Calvados finish, but
Yeah.
I think I've made no bones, and just kind of been really honest about the fact that I think we could have pulled that the whiskey out about 4 weeks to maybe 6 weeks earlier. That it went just a little over, and kind of the oak kind of started covering up the apple. I want to make sure that doesn't happen this time around with the port and the ice wine. That it doesn't over extract in any kind of way. I mean, it's a cask finishes to do well is really you really have to be on it. It's just the things can turn in like a matter of days.
Well, that was going to be my next question. When you decided, I guess, your first go around with that blend, those two different types, how long did you stay on top of it before you said, okay, time to go? Was that a good while?
Yeah, you mean with the Calvados?
Yes.
Yeah, so I would have put that in, I want to say, God, I'm forgetting. It would have been like November of 23. I checked it in the beginning of like after Christmas, the right on after the New Year in 24. Perfect. Checked it a few weeks later, and I thought, oh my God, this is just phenomenal. And then I got greedy with it, and that's kind of where things went downhill. Well, I wouldn't say downhill. I mean, it's a good product, but it could have been just that much better than theirs. So,
all right. Well, let's change pace. I gotta. We're going to move down south. Let's talk Steel Austin for a minute. So, what can you tell us about what's going on at Steel Austin? Anything new? Where are you on the Tanager blend?
Oh, yeah. That's so Tanager, the kind of the skeleton of that we did back in March, mid-March. And that's going to take we're not really going to revisit that until the end of August, beginning of September. Start adding the Petite O element in there.
Yeah.
And get that ready. Now's just the time of year when we're really, that things are going to heat up, so to speak. I mean, it's warm there right now, but it really needs that good summer to just deepen and such. So
Fritz said downhill. What? I think the Murray Hill. No, she was just
I missed that.
He said you said downhill.
Oh.
Murray Hill number 4 is really good.
Yes.
He was helping. Yeah, it's like that's. Yeah, she meant it was ready to go
downhill. I just meant
Yeah.
It wasn't quite as good as it could have been.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, things are going great. It's still the red corn is getting ready to be released. I was just I got that blended up back in April, I want to say. Got it. And maybe it was late March. I'm losing track of time. So
that's okay. That's what happens when you retire.
It's all the foreign travel.
That's right.
Yeah, I wish I could blame it for that and not middle age.
I know what I was going to ask you. Do you know an age statement on that red corn? There's rumor it's 7 or 8, but I didn't know if that was up to that yet.
Yeah, it's 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. It's the what I had to do last year. I when it was 6 years old, I kind of had to blend last year's batch and this year's batch kind of at the same time. So when I was going through the stock this year, I was just pretty much checking to make sure that things were where I wanted them to be, and we had put a little bit of water in the barrels to kind of make it so it's going to be a lot softer, rounder, kind of get it closer to that bottle and bond point, proof point, and I'm super excited about it. I know I've got my lab samples around here somewhere. I might pull a little bit out of that too and drink it tonight too.
Let's see what else. I might just go back to the Steel Austin one more time. Benny's picks are always spectacular. I've got
so Nancy, in your trip, did you hit? I mean, did you just go stay in one place, or did you stay a few days here, stay a few days in another location, or what was kind of the itinerary?
Yeah, so I stayed in Richmond, which was like a neighborhood or a suburb of London, while I was working, right. And so stayed there, and then just took a train up to Liverpool, stayed in one place, and then came back and spent a few more days in London, just kind of being a tourist again
Okay.
at that point. So yeah, I was staying 3 places essentially.
Okay. But all England.
And it's, yeah, I love it. It's been a while since I've driven there. I don't know if anyone's had the pleasure
No.
driving in the UK, but it's definitely an eye-opening experience. I'll put it that way.
Why in the hell do they drive on the wrong side of the road? We invented cars. They need to abide by our laws.
Yeah,
They drive in the right lane, not the left lane. What the hell?
I was reading something about that recently, kind of why they do it that way, and I forgot what I read, but there's some kind of reason they, do it opposite of us and the rest of the world.
I asked the stewardess. We were in Florida this past weekend and flying back and forth, and I said, I've got a question because it was kind of dead. It was 2:00 in the morning. We're sitting there in the airport. I said, why in the hell don't you board a plane from back to front? And she goes, I don't know. She goes, but I'll tell you this, back in the 60s and early 70s, they did. And somebody complained and they changed it. And I'm like, what is, you seat first class and then you just go to the last section and work your way to the front. And it makes you don't beat the hell out of everybody getting on. I don't know. It just makes perfect sense. I've always wondered that, so I don't know, whatever.
Well, it's a good question. Yeah. I because it's so time consuming not to do it that way. And I guess,
I don't, because if you load them back to front first, when you get off the plane, the people that got off last get off first. So it's an even kill. Damn, that's good. I got to call somebody.
That's right.
I don't know.
Write a letter.
What are you guys drinking right now?
I just went back and finished the Benny's single barrel.
Oh, sweet.
I'm sipping on that too. It's excellent.
Sweet. Leather.
Oh, wow.
Very leather.
That's so. I'll be back. I'm going to grab my red corn sample.
Do it. Thank you, Greg. All right. This is good, Toby. I like this. This is a good pick. What's Fritzy say? Is Marty trying to use common sense in this world? No, you're right. Good luck. Yeah, I'd fly Whiskey Nose Airlines. Let's go, dude. Damn right. Meow, meow. Lick the like the lick. Left drive is back to Roman times. You rode to the left in your chariot because you want to strike with your sword. That makes absolutely perfect sense. As Sugar Kitty ever told me,
the Brits are into tradition.
5 years. Barlow. More and more we hear other distilleries and NDPs coming the Nancy process, copying the Nancy process. Is there a next level or new process on the horizon? Oh, yeah, we can ask her.
That's a great question.
More and more we hear other distilleries.
Hey, Charlie.
What's going on, guys? What's going on, Nancy?
Hey, hey, yeah, sorry. That I was
she was in deep thought.
That's in deep thought.
It doesn't take much for me to startle people, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, I'm just shocked to see you. That's what it is. Let me get to that question here in a sec.
Go ahead.
Let me first get a little bit of the 2026. Yep, 7 years old. That is the funny. It's in a Magnus bottle. The Austin red corn.
Good color.
Yeah, look how dark it is. I mean, that's
dark as my heart. That's great.
Well,
so
definitely has the red complexion in that bottle.
Yes. It definitely does.
So does Jimmy Red as I'm looking at it. You can definitely see that red tint even
It
in the
does.
bottle.
It's kind of an amber. Yeah, kind of a
Yeah.
Yeah.
an amber color.
God.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
So Charlie was the first to post, as you saw, happy retirement. So I saw his post, and I kept backing up to it. So as soon as she said it, I could pop it in there. So thanks for doing that, Charlie. That was cool, man.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Charlie. Yeah, I appreciate that. And
Yeah, that's great.
and my apologies. I forgot what the question was.
I can go back. It's something.
I'm so busy pouring my.
Yeah, it says more and more we hear other distilleries and NDPs copying the Nancy process with the water. Is there a next level or new process on the horizon to reshape what we taste?
Great question, Chris Barlow.
Barlow,
Yeah,
good,
that's and if I want to make sure I'm getting to understand that question. Is it that asking if there are other things I've got up my sleeve, other tricks up my sleeve?
yeah, like techniques, like with the water, slowly adding the water.
Oh yeah.
Kind of new for anybody that doesn't do that is new to
Right.
us with the tanager and all that. But is there other systems out there that you've toyed with that you may want to dabble with down the road? Kind of
Oh,
thing?
definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's I've been looking to the rum world actually, and so studying a lot of that to some of the stuff that would be coming from that side of things, though, would be starting with fermentation and distillation and so that's it's definitely on the horizon. I'll put it that way. I'm always trying to think of ways I can kind of stay a step or two ahead of people.
Are you thinking that you want to become a rum maker, or maybe apply some of their processes to whiskey?
It's well, I've worked on rums my whole career. It just hasn't really been what's defined my work. But yeah, it's taking those processes and applying that to whiskey production, which I've been thinking an awful lot about and actively kind of studying certain processes that I'm not going to talk about tonight because just in case
Don't
some
give away the secrets. No way.
yeah.
As long as she
Exactly.
keeps it, we can drink it. Who cares? Just keep it.
But I'm definitely thinking about it.
That's
Welcome,
awesome.
Trey.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey,
Give me a
Trey.
second, guys. I got to plug
Yes.
in here, or something's terribly going to go wrong.
Uh-oh.
Take it, Toby. You got it. And Bill, and Charlie.
Oh, the picture looks.
Thanks for jumping on, Charlie. Always
Yeah.
good to see you.
Yeah. So Nancy, obviously you just came back from your trip. Other places that have is on your list, maybe to go out to go see, other than where you just got back from,
Yeah, for
or any other places with whiskey.
this year.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I got some fruit flies going on here. Hopefully, Jamaica will be, and the French West Indies
Oh,
will
nice.
be on my
Speaking of
list.
rum,
Yeah. It's been a while since I've been back that way or down that way for study and such. So, yeah, I'm wanting to kind of actively kind of. I've got some techniques I want to try out, but I want to study it a little bit more in depth before kind of unleashing it onto the whiskey world. Yeah, we'll see. It may work or it may not work. So, but that's part of the fun of it. It's seeing what works and what doesn't.
I'm sure these guys here will be your guinea pigs
Oh,
if you need someone.
Kitty, meow meow. Hey, a bunch of Scotch distillers, are either using or experimenting with champagne yeast. What's Nancy's experience with that? Actually, at Wyoming Whiskey, we used white wine yeast in our we used two yeast strains, and white wine was one of the ones that we used. But I've never used champagne yeast for whiskey, and I think that would be interesting. Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. Kind of getting the right ester profile is, yeah. I mean, there are a lot of moving parts to that, but if you get things kind of set during your fermentations, it can yield some really interesting results down the road.
I mean, a lot of craft distilleries use champagne yeast because so many of your ale and lager yeasts die off at a certain, alcohol percentage, whereas with the right champagne yeast, you don't really change the flavor, but yet you can keep, moving that alcohol percentage up. And that's a lot of your barley wines are done that way. So that would be interesting to see.
It would be, yeah, and I love barley wine too. Speaking of which, but yeah, that would be a lot of fun to play with. And
I tell you what, one of my favorite ice wines I've had lately has been the Barrel's ice wine in French oak finish. I don't know what it is about the French oak with that ice wine.
Yeah,
oh, man, it's delicious. And that's the first I've ever. I'm sure someone else has done it before. That's the first I've ever had it, and it's fantastic.
Well, absolutely. And that's a barrel release.
Yeah, it was Tate's single barrel pick. And it's great.
Eric's got a question, Nancy.
It's fun.
Eric's got a question. Is Nancy still working with J. Henry and Sons on their anniversary blend?
Yes. Although I made 3 years ago, I'll be in October. I made Joe Henry Jr. the new master blender, but I'm very active as an emeritus at J. Henry and Sons. I still work on an anniversary blend and all the highest end stuff. I'm still very active in all of that, and so yeah, that's
good deal.
And in fact, I'll be working on that probably next week. Kind of. Getting those blends together, getting an anniversary, which will come out around Thanksgiving. So Joe and I always get started on that blend probably like 2 or 3 years in advance, maybe even 4 or 5, and just make sure that the barrels that we want are still part of the program and such. There's a lot of work that goes into that, so I'm glad you're enjoying it. And I've seen another question about from Paul about barrel aging water and slow adding water seems like the next level techniques, fairly new to most brands. Yeah, that's the technique that but because I've got brandy production experience, that's my original production experience. That's what they call petite O, and for people that I've seen that pronounced a bunch of ways, like EAUX. People say ooh, and it's like O, like the letter O, essentially. That technique has been around since I want to say like the 1780s in France. So it's not that it's new per se. It's just that when I started using it 11 years ago at J. Henry and Sons, it was the first time anyone had ever done it with whiskey. So that's the only new part. I mean, the technique.
What went off in your mind, Nancy, that said, I think this will work? What made you think, because it's not been done, and you knew about it well ahead of time. You've already learned it when you first started blending. Right. What made you think at that point this will work now?
I just, I quite honestly, I just went with my gut. I just knew, and the theory and science behind it should work, and so I knew, how it works very well for very high end brandies, So cognacs and such, and we did that with our brandy at Germain Robin here in California. And I thought, well, the principle is the same. You're just applying it to another, rather than grape, you're applying it to grain, right? And there was already a precedent for it, for something similar with the big bourbon, Kentucky distilleries, doing barrel rinsing and keeping, they're of course pulling water out of the oak and letting it kind of doing a barrel rinse for a few weeks. Whereas with the French tradition, what you're doing is adding spirit to water, so you're actually going up in proof as opposed to going down in proof, and what that creates is a form of esterification, and because you got all that water soluble, fortified water. Essentially, you're just pulling all the wood sugars and the lactones, the fat out of the oak. And it's just, I just had a feeling, let's try this and see if it works. And so I first started doing that at J. Henry and Sons in 2015.
So
and
you already worked through it in your head. You already had a finished product. So when you started the tanager or that process at Still Austin, you kind of knew what you were looking at with those barrels that you were going to blend and then go to the water. Okay.
Yeah. Because we had been doing it at J. Henry and Sons. We started with the first Petite O. I think it was 2016 or so. So 10 years ago, we had laid it down to 2015. So I already knew that it could work. But that's the kind of thing you only do for a very high-end product, because let's face it, it's expensive, requires a lot of space to age fortified water. And so that's the only kind of thing that, or you just leave it for your best products. And I'll say this: as it gets older, it gets so good you can almost like drink it by itself. I mean, it's
really
luscious and sweet, and it has like a lot of fruity notes. It's kind of like an aperitif in a sense. It is really cool. It's just
how dark is it in color? How dark is it in color?
Oh, it can get it can get pretty dark. At J. Henry and Sons, some of the oldest Petite O that we have, that would be now 11 years old, is about that color.
Yeah.
Wow. It actually went up in proof too. So I mean, it's not usually quite that dark, but it's usually like a pretty good amber color. And just adds so much more caramelized wood sugars and fat and just esters and such that you just can't get from you're not going to get that from regular water. So it's a cool technique, but it's nothing new. It's been around for forever, just not in the United States.
Right. Oh, this is leather forward. This is a banger. But Charlie, you're welcome to ask questions. I'm not going to sit here all night.
No, you know what? I'm just a nerd. I'm just a nerd like the rest of you all. I just like sitting back and listening to things. But as far as what Whiskey Habit said, as far as do you ever get tired of questions?
Yeah, I saw that.
It made me think of this as as a fan, right, Nancy? You just sit back and you're not in the bourbon gear, and you're just sitting back and you're just watching, or you're kind of just looking at the whiskey world. Like, I got to imagine that even in today's world, as established as you are, I would imagine you still have people you still look up to, and who might they be nowadays, right?
Absolutely. I still have, my mentors that I admire. case in point, do you all know who Master Distiller Dave Shurik is?
Mm-mm.
And he was the original master distiller at Woodford Reserve. Before that, he was at Seagram's, and his daughter, who's my age, about 56, is also a master blender. But we co-teach a class together on. It's a class for the industry called Nosing for Faults, and it's funny because whenever our students stump us with a question that we can't answer, we always joke about, well, let's call the real expert your dad. And, so because there are always people, he's in his 80s. He's been doing this since before I was born, and there are always people like that, Jimmy Russell, or it's those kind of people just really are the people I really look up to, and the ones that really know their stuff are so unassuming and not arrogant about it. They realize it's a lifelong process. I mean, no one human being can study every aspect of it. I mean, you can master a lot, but no one person, has all the answers. And it's like the more you learn, the more you realize what you don't know. Too is what I've found. I mean, it's just I think about maybe 10 years ago when I thought, wow, I really know a lot. And now, to 20 years, I'm like, oh God, I really don't know a lot.
Yeah, that's me at work.
It's like any kind of art. I mean, an artist never stops learning. Yes, their techniques get better and that, but whether it's music or writing or painting or like distilling, blending, or a chef in the kitchen, there is no end to learning. And that's, I think, why we love to have you on and appreciate your generosity, because you take us to school every time you come on, and it's awesome.
I told Marty that before the stream started. I was like, man, the notes I'm going to take. I mean, it's just going to be a notebook of stuff. Every time you come on, I'm like, man, that's something else I didn't know.
Just record it, or you've got this too. But yeah, it's the kind of thing I find, like when I talk with the people that I've studied under, like Dave Shurik or Hubert Germain-Robin, my main mentor from France, or Alain Rollier, also from France. People like that their families have been doing this for like 200 or 300 or 400 years. And, that they themselves have been doing it for 50 plus, 60. One of my mentors, he was, his family owned Ray and Nephew rum in Jamaica. And he's been a master distiller since 1962. He's in his 90s.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I feel, and I'm not putting myself down by, saying I don't have talent or don't know anything, but compared to that, I mean, it really kind of, puts you in your place real fast, if that makes sense, or, kind of humbles you to, and even those guys don't know it all, but those are the kind of people I really admire, and they keep on learning, and I so admire that.
Well, I got one for you. So you talk about not knowing everything. I know there's got to be a time where you were just so excited about some blend or trying something, and then you got to it and it was just terrible. No matter what you did, whether it was a combination of 3 or 4 things or 2 things. I mean, there's got to be one that sticks out.
Oh, there are several, many. Well, I don't want to say like many. Definitely several stick out. I'd have to say probably the things I'm most proud of, and this I will say, and this doesn't just like apply to me. I mean, it's anyone that takes on a title of master as a whether it's a master distiller or a master blender, is that in my humble opinion, at least, you don't attain mastering until you can take care of problems and figure out how to remedy those problems. And if you have a bunch of faulty bourbon or something, and you've got to blend it out, or you've got to figure out what to do with that. I wouldn't say it's easy to blend, like a 100% great distillate. There's still an art to it, but if you can work with the problems and know how to remedy that stuff, that to me is a sign of mastery. And even at that, it's not always perfect. Sometimes you're just kind of saving the day, as it were, to try to make inferior barrels. And by that maybe they have the corn was moldy, and no one figured that out until years down the road, when those barrels go to be blended, or that kind of thing. It's knowing how to solve those kind of problems, or at least kind of minimize them, and that's not easy. And but that to me is what truly makes someone a master blender or a master distiller.
Let me ask you this: if you're the master, just like Sean said, my dreamest title is to be master of the universe. So if you're the master, you're the PE, you're the doctor, you're the head elf, you're the head honcho. If you're the master distiller, should you be able to take apart a still and put it back together?
Yes, and you also ought to be able to catch problems in your fermentations and distillations before that, or if you see that happening, you want to be able to put a lid on those kind of issues real fast, and not let that get too far down the line. Truth is, every distillery, even the ones that have multi-million dollar budgets at their disposal for quality control and everything, I've seen everyone have a problem at some point or another. It just, it's, just kind of, statistically impossible for that not to happen, I guess. So it's all, a matter of how well you're able to control that situation and, get it under control. And that to me is really what, it's not just making great blends that, people want to drink. It's really the behind the scene things that nobody ever sees.
Yeah. It's just,
and so
I know how you feel about just handing out titles, and we've talked about it privately. And I when I hear somebody go under the name master, I know what that means to be earned, and what have you done to be that person. So that's why I kind of wanted to ask you that. It's like, just because you start a distillery and it's yours doesn't mean you're the master by any means. You could be paying staff to run everything, and they're technically your masters. I just think people ought to be careful. Don't just hand out a title.
I agree, but because then the title becomes meaningless.
Absolutely.
And there are times, I would not have taken that title if I didn't see my mentor wrote about me as a master blender, but he did it in French to somebody, or a few people that he CC'd me on. And I still feel a little weird about it sometimes, because I think about my mentors of their families have been at this for several hundred years, and they themselves have been doing it for 50, 60 plus years. So it's kind of knowing when it's okay to take that title. It's really tricky though. I don't mind the title. There's something about head distiller equals master distiller. No, those are not one and the same. A head distiller is kind of like a step below, or a head blender is a step below, like a master level. That's kind of just as you're getting ready to attain the title.
Interesting.
That's the way it should be. If you're doing.
Well, we've got little local distilleries here, and they do good stuff. Don't get me wrong, but you
Yeah,
go on their websites, and the owner is the master distiller, and I'm like, ah, damn, man. I mean, come on.
Yeah, there might be one or two, but for the most part, they've got somebody that they've hired to do that, because it's like a chef. You own a restaurant, but you're not necessarily the chef.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not in there making those recipes and doing that. You're handling the business transaction side of it. That doesn't mean somebody can't do both, but typically you're better at one or the other.
Well, sometimes two people that they brought on for production, they'll just name them, a master distiller or master blender, and it's like, yeah, okay, well, what are your credentials? And I see that sometimes, and those of us in the industry kind of we know who those people are, if that makes sense. We have kind of like a code within our industry of integrity and respect, and people that we kind of know who's taking the title and not really giving up the goods, or even at that, like what I was saying about the Murray Hill Club special release number 4, or not. I did, 5.
Not the one that went downhill, but the other one.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing.
Yeah.
I look back now and I think, oh my God, I should have known at that point, right when it was kind of at the apex, that it needed to be yanked and bottled right then, and that I wouldn't say it's inexperience on my part, but it was I was getting a little greedy with it, and I should have known better. That's, I could kind of kick myself. I've got a sample down in my basement of what it tasted like about 4 or 5 weeks, but before the final version. I swear, if y'all ever come to my house or whatever, and you want to taste that against the real or the finished product, I'd be happy to let you taste it, because that to me was like right where it's at.
Hey boys, you heard it. That was an invite. It's a barbecue at Nancy's next weekend.
I'll be back.
Woo, yeah.
So, Nancy, I got probably a 2 or 3 parter question for you.
Okay.
This past Friday, I had the privilege to, share a car ride with a dear friend of ours, Katie Turk. And you've met Katie. She was on the Hello Again Whiskey Friends pick down at Still Austin last year.
Yep.
And you had a reason that day to kind of school them on one of the flaws that can happen in whiskey making, and that's the presence of mycotoxins. Can you kind of tell us what those are and where they come from and how they can negatively impact a whiskey?
Yeah, so that's a excellent question, Toby. I'm going to kind of back up a little bit to kind of geek out here for a moment. So when you're looking at a fault, or a problem in a whiskey, there are 2 types. There's one, what we call an off note, and one that we call a taint. And so what you're talking about is taint. So a taint is some kind of atypical flavor that usually comes from like like if you get like mold in the grain, or the mold in the water, and hey Darrell, let's see.
Hey.
Hello, my whiskey
I
friends.
didn't want to interrupt.
It's okay. I just now saw you. So that's taints are really difficult to fix. And that's what I'll be talking about here in a sec to answer the question. The other kind of fault is what we call an off flavor and off note, and that's some kind of naturally arising note. It's a let me back up. It's an atypical flavor in the spirit, but it comes from something that arises naturally. So, for example, in every single fermentation will have, say maybe just like a trace amount of acetic acid, which is vinegar. So, well, now at a very high threshold, having a bunch of vinegar in your whiskey is going to taste awful. That's a fault, right? But just a trace amount, and fermentation is natural. So that's some kind of note, where it's just kind of gotten out of control, or the threshold is great. So to answer your question, we're looking at taints, and the taint in particular, you're talking about like a mycotoxin. So that's what comes from, say, moldy corn. If the grain either on the stalk while the corn is growing, for example, or even after the corn has been harvested, if it's been stored in like a really wet kind of environment, they'll get this this mold on it. So there's a test for checking that when you receive your grain. So if say you're working with a local farmer, or you have if you're a big distillery, you've got a major grain supplier, and you probably have like a train tank, that has all of your grain in it. Well, when you get that grain, you want to, or like on the diesel truck or the truck, you want to, on the truck when it's coming to you, you want to take samples from various places in the truck, and you can just kind of do what they call kind of like the tea test, and that's where you steep the grain, make a tea out of it, and see if you smell any mold. Essentially, you can also take some kernels and put it in a you don't want to make popcorn, but like microwave it for 2 or 3 4 seconds. And if there's mold in it, you can smell it. So it's a very easy test to run. But sometimes, for whatever reason, at least in the craft world, people don't always do those tests. And even at big distilleries, depending on how the grain is stored. The grain might have been fine when they received it, but again, depending on how it's stored, you can get that mold. So anyway, all of that to it. Say when you then ferment and distill that comes over in the whiskey is very kind of earthy, just like really moldy, and it's if you add a little bit of water to it in a glass, the water it really pops out with the presence of water. Another thing too there is it's not just Coster test test levels of grains.
We have extremely intelligent people in my chat, Nancy.
I love it.
And then I keep the ones that aren't and the ones that aren't so smart are on screen. So
Amen.
Hey.
just go.
That's why we're here. We need special attention.
Yeah. This is the.
No,
Yeah, I'll be careful what I say.
Just real quick,
Go
I
ahead.
know
Sorry.
I'm talking a lot here, but yeah, just wanted to finish up. And another way that you can get that must is from the water source itself. So, like certain places, like I find this is really bad in Texas, for example. When the water table changes up, through certain times of the year, you'll get this. It's like kind of uh, uh, like a byproduct from a blue-green algae mold. That's what we call geosmin, and it smells just like beets. And if you think about all the points in production when you use water, whether it's, adding that to your grains for mashing in, cleaning fermentation tanks and lines and such, proof water. There are just so many contact points where you could, if you have a geosmin contamination, you can get that in your whiskey. And that was a lot to say, but those kind of faults are really difficult to get rid of.
Okay, so let me, because I wanted you to kind of cover that, because I have a question that was my actual initial question, but I knew we needed some background to get there. If, first of all, if you have that note, that earthy note, that cardboardy note, damp earth, whatever you want to call it, what can, and that you've got barrels, it's in the barrels, what can you do with those? Can that note age out? Do those barrels all of a sudden become, just fire starter?
That's that to me. Getting any kind of mustiness is the kiss of death. That is the worst fault to tell. Musty barrels. That's another place where you can get that too. So 3, it would be like moldy corn, or the fermentable
Grain.
substrate. Yeah, the grain has that waterborne, and then in faulty barrels. In faulty barrels, you can actually taste the mold spores in there too, which is not well pleasant, but,
He nailed it. Sorry. That's all I say when I have had your yes.
Cardboard and mushroom.
God, it's like drinking a bad Miller High Life.
It's
so at that point, is that whiskey just drain pour?
Not necessarily, no. And that's where
With it? Could it be finished to address that note?
I wouldn't do that. I would do some kind of filtration on it, maybe with like a 0.1 or 2 micron filter or something. First of all, get it out of the barrels it had been in. If you can kind of use some kind of charcoal filtration method, that might kind of help. But then again, you're pulling out color and such too. So that's why it's notoriously difficult. Depends on the threshold of the mustiness, or mushroom quality. If it's just too high, then there's probably nothing you can do with it. It just have to be destroyed, or distilled or something.
Is there any other than the water source, the grain source, the barrel? Is there any other cause for that note that we're talking about?
No.
Okay.
That's where it would come from. The fermentable substrate, whether it's grain, if you're working with grapes, that or some kind of fruit that can come from, musty grape or but yeah, those are the 3 sources, and through experience, you start to learn what the qualities are of, if I'm looking at a waterborne source, I'm looking at geosmin, and you kind of, through taste and analysis and such, you can kind of start to learn, the geosmin will have a little bit more of like a pure earth quality, whereas like a mycotoxin in a moldy corn might be a little bit more musty, if that makes sense.
Okay.
They're both kind of generally musty, but kind of the quality is a little bit, or the sensory is a little different in them, and so that's and another thing that like in being a master distiller, master blender, you kind of learn what part in the production process that's coming from, and but yeah, that particular fall is just, oh my God, anytime I see that, I think, oh boy, we are in for a ride. It's going to be difficult, but
So
I've had to blend that stuff out before, and I've managed to turn it into some pretty decent blends. You'd never know. I'll put it that way.
Well,
Well, I mean, that's why you're a master blender, because none of us could do that. Well, maybe Drew,
or a
but
master distiller too. Somebody.
yeah, there you go. So
Yeah.
along the same notes, maybe not the moldy corn, but like the very earthy notes, like Garrison Brothers. I mean, every time I get one of those, it's, and I've had several that, man, it's just super earthy, maybe a little mineral in it. Kind of a Flintstone vitamin almost, but not, a little more on the dry side for me. What can you do with those to blend? Because, like I look at some of the stuff I have and I'm like, okay, how can I take this and make it enjoyable for myself? Because some people love it and I don't. It's just not my profile, right? What would you do to maybe mellow that out, give it some depth?
I want to be careful about talking about another distillery that I don't
Okay,
work.
well, maybe it's just that note, just that earthy
Said,
note.
yeah, it's it's there are a number of things that, well, I'll put it this way, like a certain profile. There are things you could do with your oak and such to not make it so aggressive. It's been a while since I've had that particular brand, so I don't know that I can speak to that necessarily, but
I think sometimes I get a few that just come across as super earthy, and that note just sticks out to me a lot. Like my palate's very sensitive. Ryes are the same way. If it has a hint of that spearmint, that mintiness, it just kills it for me. And it's not that they're bad. I know they've got some good things going, but sometimes I'm like, okay, if I want to blend this at my house, what direction should I go with it to maybe make it enjoyable?
besides this, clunk, clunk, clunk,
Yeah.
clunk.
Yeah, I mean, because I hate wasting it, but I'm new to blending. I'm trying some things, and I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone. And if I could take something like that and make it really something that I like, I think that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, you know what? What you might want to try doing is to take it and take something that you find that's kind of like the opposite profile, that doesn't have those kind of minty notes, or the kind of the notes that you don't really like in it.
Okay.
And add maybe like 2/3 to 1/3, or even like 1/4 of the Garrisons, since that's what you mentioned. And
Yeah, that's just one I mentioned. There's others, but that one just comes to mind. One of my buddies, he lives near there, and he sends me bottles, and I've had a lot of offerings of theirs, and they're not bad. Like, it's
Hello.
just that note just kind of resonates throughout their lineup, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, she should be in there right now.
I would say that's a wonderful thing to experiment with, and just for your own learning and such is what I would do is I'd hang on to that and play with it and see just how much you can add before you actually like do a blend of things that you actually like, or a profile that you like, and see how much, kind of like at what point, or how far you can take it before you can actually taste it in that blend, if that makes sense.
No, it does. I just, like I
And,
said, something
and
new I've been playing with, and just kind of trying to get ideas of where you can go with it. Because
I think that doing home blending like that is a thing to be encouraged. I think it's a lot of fun, and it really teaches you a lot.
I think this channel's really opened me up to that. I mean, Darrell, watching what he does, the Blendageddon, Action Drum. I mean, it makes you curious, but then you're sitting there like, these bottles are really good by themselves, and these people know what they're doing, and I don't. So, it's kind of a leap of faith when you go, do I really want to blend this? So it's been fun. It's been fun. I've made a lot of bad stuff. I can tell you that much.
Well, it's
It's the only way to learn, man. You just experiment and you figure out what works, what doesn't work. Like, otherwise, you're just going to be sitting like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of stuff I made that was crap. There's been some good stuff, but like you don't know until you start messing around and playing with it, to kind of know if something works with something or not. That's why I love doing it.
Spot on, Darrell. Years ago, there was I love William LaRue Weller. I added a little bit of that to like from a 2006 bottling, one of my favorite all times, to some of my Infinity blend, and I love the WLW by itself, but it kind of ruined the Infinity blend for a while. It didn't work with anything, and and it's a great component. I mean, come on, that's William LaRue Weller, but it didn't work with the other components in my Infinity blend. And sometimes you just
have a heart attack right now. I mean, you just stopped his heart twice with what you did.
Dude, I'm sitting there like, oh my gosh, if I blended that, I think I would pass out on this couch over here and never wake up. I don't know, man.
I was shocked.
That'd be out on the limb for me.
I don't know if it was like some kind of chemical reaction, or something clearly was going on, and it didn't work, and it was far from inferior bottling. It just, for whatever reason, it didn't work chemically with with the rest of the components I had in that blend. And so, that's anytime I do any kind of blending. Oh yeah, all right.
That's a good one right here.
Oh yeah, I needed a reason to crack it, so
There you go. Enjoy
but
it.
yeah, having at home, if you can invest in some graduated cylinders or something, 25 ml or 50 ml, maybe like a 10 ml pipette or something, and 100 ml or 500,000 mLs, whatever, just have some stuff so you can kind of play around with it, and it'll be fun.
I think that's where I mess up, is I just my measuring is. I probably should work on that a little bit.
We're getting attacked over here. All right. All right. Hi and bye. All right. Come. You see? Everybody can see you. Really quick. You're gonna say hi because you're very heavy.
Hey. Oh, hi there.
Everybody can see you already. Look at.
What's that?
I don't know what that has on.
It's time for some candy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Say hi.
Oh, that's good.
Hi.
All right. Hi. All right. Time for bed.
No.
Good night.
Hey, Marty, we'll throw in a sample of this, King's Batch 2, and some Tanager tonight as a giveaway.
You need to text me because I'm not going to remember. I need to add it to the ticker.
Yep.
Thank you, buddy. William Hall is in the house. Lip service. Thank you, buddy. That's awesome. Gerald is in. Got you, buddy.
I got to meet William Hall this past weekend. It's fantastic.
Good
All
dude.
this time.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, where did you all meet?
So yeah, there was a group of us that met in Indiana, and we picked a couple barrels at Backbone.
Sweet. Oh,
I
nice.
love Backbone. I mean, Toby, you know that.
Yeah.
What'd you pour, Charlie? I saw you pour something.
As a Old Stubborn.
Oh boy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, man.
Is it batch 1, batch 2?
Batch 2. I know they're on 3 now.
So white and gold box, right?
A cylinder.
I believe so. Yeah, it's a cylinder.
Oh, yeah. I haven't had that in a while. I actually may pour it. I have that bottle. I haven't had that in probably over a year.
So remind me, Charlie, because I've got two Old Stubborns and two what's the other one? Old Swagger. What batch came out in 2020? So was it batch 3 that came out in 2026?
Yeah, they're on their 3rd version of Old Stubborn now.
Then they did those other ones, right? Fancy looking.
Yeah,
ones.
they look like a genie bottle.
Yes, so that 2 version of that, and the original one looks like almost like a Mary Dowling bottle.
Oh, okay. So I've got 2 and 3 then.
I will say the corks on these are absolutely trash. Oh my god, it's
That's
shreds.
the original. That's batch 1.
Can,
Oh,
No,
that's
this
batch
batch
one.
2.
can you show that again, bro? Oh, wow.
But the cork, like, because it's
It's a
a
cool
flat, right? So
Yeah.
Is it
it's so sharp
yeah, they're
right
on
here.
oh,
So every time you put this in, it shreds. I actually took some of the cork off to stop having it from shredding. Like it's bad.
that's
You know
terrible.
what would be good, Darrell,
That's awful.
is one of the new Dark Arts corks. They're synthetic and they have the glass topper on them.
Does that fit? I think those dark.
It looks like it's that size.
I have the dark arts actually. Let me see.
Toby, I stand corrected. They're on version 4. Sorry. They had 2 of the Mary Dowling bottles and then 2 of the Genie bottles.
Here's a good question, Nancy. Is there a method of blending different proof barrels together? Are there certain notes that work better in blends at lower or higher proofs? That's a really good question, especially when you're building, I guess, a base would probably be the best way to discuss that one.
That's an excellent question, Anna. It kind of depends on like the difference in proof. So if they're fairly close together, then it's not really going to matter much. But say
Small.
that you want to make a well, like Joseph Magnus's Murray Hill Club, for example, which is let's say that legally a blended bourbon or bourbon, a blend in the standards of identity. So you're probably using say the base whiskeys at 12 years old, or maybe like a 110 or something, or like 108 to 110 or 112 or so, and then your light whiskey component, say to it, make that blend. I'd usually use maybe 17 barrels of 12-year-old bourbon to maybe 1 barrel of light whiskey. That would be like 9 to 12 years old. Well, the light whiskey component is probably going to be up around 130 to 140. And so the part of the and that's kind of where the gross inconsistency comes in. Adding a 140 proof barrel to bourbons that are, maybe 110. You want to be really slow and kind of just cautious with it. One thing anytime I do that, I like to be very cautious with the blending in it, and I don't know how else to say it, but this is the way I learned is that when you blend components, alcohol is very you can bruise it. It's very you just have to be very gentle with the alcohol, or you can create a big mess in there, and or with it. So that's the kind of component where if I'm adding a barrel of the very high proof light whiskey, I just want to go very slow with that into the tank. And
do you like blending light whiskey, or do you just?
I love it. When it's good, it's great to me, and it's kind of like the equivalent of how in the Scotch world, how there are like grain whiskeys.
Yeah.
It's and when they're good, they can just every bit as complex as a single malt. So I kind of see like a very well made light whiskey as being very similar to that. So yeah, I love working with light whiskey, but anytime you're blending things of varying proofs, just like grossly gross variation, you just want to be very careful with it. I haven't done back in the day when I was younger, I used to physically do the blends myself. As you get older, that kind of becomes a little harder to dump barrels. Just the physical part of it. At least as a woman, as a female, it gets a little older or harder as you get older. But I used to do all that physical stuff myself, which is really fun. But there's definitely a method that I've always had for the physical blending, and just being very gentle with things when you stir. And mix alcohol. You just always want to be really gentle with it. I have to admit, I really miss the physical aspect of it. I for years, and I probably do what a lot of master blenders do, is they kind of work up the ranks. I'm just kind of on this level anymore. Doing the samples and telling someone else how I want it to be made, but I really miss the physical aspect of making a blend. There's just nothing like that, and that to me always felt like, I'm really, I've had my hands on this in every way possible. Anyway, I kind of veered off a bit from I think what the question was, but I hope that answered it.
I just asked you if you enjoyed messing with it.
Yeah, well,
we all love the mouthfeel and the sweet that it gives, and I just wonder if when you blend a light whiskey like that, I'm guessing when the age and the proof, it might be. Now, this is somebody saying something that he knows no idea what he's talking about, which is most anything that comes out of my mouth. But it might be easier for you to come up with that base because that American profile will hold as you add to it. Is that correct? On a base blend.
But there's a way everything I blend, I create what's called like a mother blend or a coupe mère, as we call it in French, and so that's kind of like your skeleton blend, and as you're building a blend, say like Tanager from Stalost and something, John Schrippell and I, a master distiller at Still Austin, will kind of build our coupe mare. And as we go through the year, if we find that there are things, it's going in a direction, maybe we want it a little less spicy, for example. We kind of want to rein it back in a little bit more to, have a little bit more wood sugars or sweetness to pair with the cigar, whatever. We'll kind of make adjustments to it, what we could call a adjustment. So maybe you need to add 1 barrel or 10 gallons or 5 gallons or 1 gallon of a certain component to kind of adjust the blend and bring it back to where you want to go. So all that fine tuning is, and that's the part I've really loved of blending over the years. When you have the time to shape a blend over, say a year or more, and you can make it, it's like driving a train or something, real slow, or you can drive that exactly where you want it to go. And that is where the art of everything comes in to me, is to be able to shape it that way. And again, I've probably gone off the rails. So
No. I was going to ask you next. It's like, are you looking at doing any more Armagnac cognac stuff now?
Oh, always. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And hopefully in the next few weeks, I'll be able to make that big announcement that I was talking about, that kind of like the next place.
Yeah, I need a Still Austin.
But yeah, that's
cognac Armagnac bottle.
My God.
That would be nice.
I'm just saying that. I have my
Don't we all? Heck, even I don't get that stuff. I've asked for it.
Wait, have you done anything finished? I don't know if I've had a Still Austin finish. Has there been?
Oh, a lot of things. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've never had any then. I've just had the regular single barrel.
Usually in like the distillery reserve program, or it's like the distillery only type of things. But yeah, back and back, yeah. Still Austin has it all. That's for sure. That's.
So Nancy, you mentioned in chat earlier about synthetic cork, to go back for a second when he was mentioning about his cork. What's the downside on everyone just going to synthetic?
Cork makers can't make a living.
No, I get all that, but I mean, as a consumer and everybody else.
I am a huge fan of synthetic cork all day long. It alleviates so many problems. It's just, it may not be as romantic, but it just, I would personally, I'm fine to have a little less romance than to have a big piece of cork, to drop down in my whiskey and have to get that out, and you've got to strain it, and if you leave it in there, it's going to ruin the whiskey. So I kind of think that's the it does sit in a William Holly, it does sit in the landfill forever, and if you can recycle it, I know my personal bottles that I have, I always try and recycle my cork or synthetic cork, but just from a pure production point of view, it's so much easier, and I always prefer that.
Okay.
That's
Nancy, Christian's got a question. How does finishing affect the way you blend? Do you prefer blending barrels before finishing, or blending barrels together after they've been finished? Probably both.
That's a great question. So a little bit of both. So if I'm, well, and let me kind of start off with that by talking about Joseph Magnus cigar blend. So the way that I do that is I make up a coupe mare mother blend of say 16 barrels of bourbon and a little bit of the Joseph Magnus triple cask, and maybe 1 or 2%, and then put that into a tank. And so all of that blend would then go into Armagnac cask. So and each Armagnac cask would be a quote batch, So a batch might have, depending on the size of the Armagnac cask, maybe 250 to 500 bottles in it. So it's not that big, but that's the way that I tend to like for components to marry for quite a long time. The way that I'll do the Murray Hill Club, just to kind of use an example here, for the Murray Hill Club special release batch 5, is I've got half of it sitting in ice wine cask and the other in white port cask. And when those are going the direction that I want them to, and what I think they should be harvested, all of that's then going to go into stainless, get blended up, and then it will be put back into those particular cask again. So it's kind of, that it's at that point, it'll be kind of all blended together, but you're still kind of getting benefit of the cask. So it really depends on what I'm doing and kind of what my goal is with the product. And I don't know if that kind of answers the question, but it
you said before when that's come up, it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, it is, and the more the time that you have for different cask finishes, if you're combining different cask finishes in a bourbon, oh yes, woo, yeah, oh heck yeah, sweet.
Teacher's pet.
Nancy, you ever worry about? Yep.
I'll get to that here in a moment. God, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, the more time that I can allow things to marry and create new chemical reactions, that's what I want. I want more time for new chemical reactions to occur. So it's okay, if I'm doing cask finishes and they're different cask finishes, I'm less concerned about people being able to pick out all the particular cask finishes than I am to have some kind of like whole cohesive thing. And I think I've talked about this for years too, like in Joseph Magnus cigar blend bourbon, that since day one, well, actually since batch 7 or 8, that the sherry and the cognac finish is just really negligible. I know when I first started off with batch 1, the triple cask bourbon made up about maybe 20% of that blend, and I quickly went down to about 1 to 2%. So that it's been that way, for 9 years, and because I wanted the Armagnac cask to be primary. But anyway, I've gone on a wild.
No, we all with a good question. When you put juice in a finished barrel, is there a target time for that based on production needs, or do you go until it hits profile you want?
So yeah, that's another excellent question. It depends on time of year. For certain cask, like when I get my Armagnac cask for Joseph Magnus, they're really fresh, and so I can effectively get 2 uses out of those barrels. But if it's say a first use, and I'm using that barrel, say like in the summer months when things are going to happen very quickly, it's not going to have to be in that barrel much longer than maybe a month or two, whereas in the winter time I'm looking at a much longer 3 or 4 or 5 months time. So it depends on the barrel itself, how much liquid it still has in it, and the staves from the previous use, time of year that you're entering into the cask. I mean, that's why I see when producers say, oh, it's been in there for 2 years, or versus maybe 2 months, or versus 6 months. People get a little too married to exactly how long the spirit was in that finishing cask, because it all matters on what that barrel still has to offer, how fresh it is from its previous use, how many tannins it has to offer. If you don't want too many tannins, you're not really looking for that in a finishing cask. And time of year, if you put it in the winter versus summer, it's going to have a very different effect. So I hope that kind of gets to it. There are just a lot of things you have to consider, and the big thing is you've got to watch it. I've literally seen finishing cast change completely the character of a bourbon in, say, 4 or 5 days. So, and that's not the usual thing to happen, but it can happen. So, it's really making sure that that you're testing it constantly. And
this is kind of a pretty good one. Nancy, is there a cast finish that's the next big thing that blenders are sleeping on? I absolutely love the finish that Watershed does, but I haven't seen that finish anywhere else yet.
That's a question, and I might not be the one to ask, because I'm kind of a little over cask finishes, and maybe I shouldn't say that. It's, few
Well, I think as of today, you've kind of retired from cask finishing.
Well, it's not that. It's that I kind of feel like the category has been a little overdone, and I'm kind of more. I really don't know what's out there, because I'm not looking for it anymore. I'm kind of getting back to, how shall I say, bourbon more in its pure form, if that makes sense. I don't know. I mean, there could be something really cool out there that I have no idea about, and I'm not saying that it couldn't be done. I'm not aware of what's going on right now.
So everybody that's just joining, in case you haven't heard, today the news hit, and you heard it here first in person. Nancy is now retiring, and she'll still be part of Magnus. Don't get her wrong, but she's absolutely stepping away from the master blender side. She's had somebody in her wings for a good while. We've talked about in previous streams that is going to take over, and Nancy feels 100% confident in her. Well, I mean, I'm selling it for you, but I know what you've told me in private and stuff.
Right.
But I think, everything's going to be okay. So. Yeah,
that's, and as long as they want to, I'm still, unless they fire me or something after tonight, Yeah, I still intend on being involved in, high-end products and such from Joseph Magnus. I'll still be there. I've worked with Will Fabry for 7 years, on almost 8 now. And that's about the time when, how long it usually takes if you're going to become a master blender. It's usually like at that 8 year, that's 7 to 8 year range. And in some cases even longer, 10 to 20 years or so. But I want people to realize there's going to be a lot more continuity than you might think. And if I wasn't confident that Will could take over, I wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
Because this is my baby. I mean, this is I'm not an owner, but I feel so intimately connected with that brand that if I didn't feel good about it, I wouldn't feel like it was time to move on. But he's got we've been blending this stuff together for so long. I mean, not that he has to be a mini me, as I say, but just like kind of how I learned from my mentors. We think very similarly in how we do things and solve problems and blend. That I feel very confident that he's got it. And I'll be around. I mean, like I was saying, and unless I'm in the cold hard grave, I'll still be around to answer questions or help out. So,
Nancy, does Southern Star do they still reach out to you about doing anything or in North Carolina?
I don't know that I haven't heard from them in a long time. I've never really worked with them on their products. I had a distillery I was working with in Israel that has had some single malt there for a while, and so that's kind of how I came to work with Southern.
So the thing they did I think they did a malt finish here recently that's hit North Carolina and maybe some other places.
Oh, really? Oh, so, wow.
But that's not yours?
No.
Okay,
no.
that's what I need to know.
That's, not mine.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I'll go grab a bunch for everybody if that was the case, but if it's not, that's okay.
But the Broad Branch Tradecraft that's coming out is my blend.
Oh, we like some Broad Ranch now.
We love Broad Branch.
Big Winston and the Rise, and yeah.
That's yep, yeah. That's been a work.
Over the last
year.
There it is. Hold on, Charlie. Yep. I don't know if I can get it to kick. There we go.
Broad Branch. And so I worked with the founder of the company, John Frigakis, back in, let's see, 11, 12 years ago. He studied with me, and his after he died, his daughters took on the company, the distillery, and so the blend that we did together was kind of like honoring their dad and our early work together 11, 12 years ago. So, but I started working with them. Yeah, it would have been about 11, 12 years ago. Help them with fermentations and such. So
we need to get back down here and do some more.
I know. I'm so on for that, Godson. I'm just ready.
I know.
We need Nancy just to drive through Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
just not through Nashville.
Huh?
Just not through Nashville.
Why not?
Traffic down there is terrible.
My aunt, my mother's sister died 3 years ago, and it was the first time I'd gotten back to Tennessee, and probably about 4 years. And I actually, after the funeral up in Kingsport, I drove from one end of the state to the other and hit Nashville and all the kind of the music areas, Memphis, and then from there I went down to Clarksdale, Mississippi. But that it was so fun. I miss Tennessee, and one of these days I want to get a toehold back in East Tennessee again. I'll probably end up retiring there when like true retirement comes.
Hell, don't do it. Do it now. Shit, that way I can come over. Well, when I'm in town.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
That way you can actually get that big old sample box full of stuff that's been sitting on her dining room table.
She's just adding to it, man. She's just adding to it. Don't worry about it.
Embarrassed at this point. I just keep on adding.
Like Marty's whiskey retirement plan. That's his whiskey 01k.
Nancy, have you ever,
I love it.
Yeah, now she's retired there that nobody will ever see. This Gaucho's Steel Austin Rye is absolutely fantastic.
Oh, is it the Mac one? Hack and Mac?
Yeah, they sent me a few to try. This is the 6-year 119.9 or 119.29. Dude, the nose on this is just sugar cookie sweet. Good, that's good, man.
Mine's all done.
Oh,
Done.
man down. Man down.
There's you a job, Nancy.
Oh, jeez.
I bet they do.
Jeez.
Oh yeah. I've been hearing. Yeah, they need some help. And it's
What would you do is get Nancy down to Old Glory and let her just go through about 40 barrels and just make a damn blend from unbelievable single barrels.
we had a group come pick today, and they selected a bourbon and a Tennessee whiskey, both 6 years old. They're really good.
Wow.
Ryan from Southern Collective stopped by, and 2 years ago he bought a 5-year Tennessee whiskey from us, and it's been sitting in a Connex for 2 years. Oh, it was so good.
Did you buy it back from him?
I offered.
great.
I bet.
So
We've hit Nancy up with this question for about 4 years now.
So yeah, I'm happy to answer that. Actually, years ago, I was thinking of doing my own distillery or doing a blending house. And I've kind of studied that extensively and gone down that route. And in the end, I decided I didn't want to do that. I'll say this: this is not a politically correct term, but I'm kind of like an idiot savant. I'm just kind of like good at like what I do. I've got like a really narrow band, as a brand owner, you're responsible for financials and marketing and sales, and there's just so much to it. Managing people, that's just not my wheelhouse. I'm really good at what I do, but I don't really. I don't want the responsibility of being a brand owner. Respect people that go that route, and God bless them if they have success in that. That's wonderful, but it's not what I personally want to do. I'm really kind of good at what I'm good at, if that makes sense.
Well, I'll tell you this: if that was
rich
the case,
on it, I make a decent living. I'm not getting rich, here, but it's that's just kind of my lot in life, and I'm cool with it.
But one of the benefits of doing it the way you're doing it is variety. If you had your own, whether it be NDP or distillery, that's it. You're not going to have time to do much else. And whereas what you're doing now, you get to work with, numerous different, brands, and, that's, and yet you're not on the hook for any of them. It's not your capital that's at risk. And I mean, that's you're in a sweet spot. Yeah.
I was about to say, I'll start a distillery now. You can come blend and do whatever. Carte blanche. There you go.
Well,
Hey, yeah, that's
lip service right here has the best statement. But the only problem with this is I'm afraid my box will get mixed in this. But this is a great point right here. Just blend the samples you have in your house and bottle that. Then you can retire.
Oh my God. Yeah, I probably could retire on that, honestly. That's, the thing is, I know I've also gotten a lot of flack from people over the years that not everyone, just, a little contingent out there that have said, well, you're an independent contractor, you're not an employee of any distillery, that I blend for. I've kind of had my major ones: Wyoming whiskey, Joseph Magnus, Still Austin, J. Henry, and now 7.3 distillery, and that's true. And I am an independent contractor, but I'll tell you what. Back in 2000, October 2008, I got laid off at Germain Robin Brandy Distillery. And I don't know if anyone's been laid off before, but it really screwed me financially. And I swore that I would never be anyone's employee again. And so I kind of came up with this model of being a freelance master blender, where I could do all the work of a master blender, but, be an independent contractor, if that makes sense. And that way, if I ever got fired by one distillery, well, I'd still have a job. And so that's how I kind of came up with that whole idea of doing that, just because I didn't want to, suffer the fallout again. I know I've had some people over the years said, well, you can't be the real master blender of, that, so whatever distillery, because you're not an employee. And I would beg to differ, but because I do all the work of a master blender, I'm just not paid under that structure. So.
And people can sell all the time. So that's what I-9s are for.
Yeah. So that's the route I chose to go. I was not going to do financial ruin again. I've been down that road and not doing it again. So, but that said, not being a brand owner, I get to focus on the things that I'm good at, I enjoy doing. I just, from a career perspective of, what my day is like. I probably have a heck of a lot more fun than people that have all these financial worries and such. I mean, not that I don't have any issues. Like what I was saying before. If I've got faulty distillate that I've got to work with, I still have to figure out all that stuff. But that's in my wheelhouse. I'm good at that. I'm the kind of the idiot savant, or the I don't know. That's not a probably okay term anymore. But I'm kind of just like really narrow that way.
Nancy, I got a question, and I know you need to go. You've been here a long time, and I've never asked you this, I don't think, unless it was on the phone and I'd been drinking, which is usual.
We've done a little
when in your life did you go either to Europe or whatever you were doing and realize this is for me? What time frame And what made you decide, okay, I can do this. It's for me and I can make a living. When did that happen for you?
That was probably about 20 years ago. And I know, people know I went to Harvard, and I've got a law degree, and I've got a master's and all that. But I like to say, Terry, I'll get to that question because it kind of feeds into this. But Harvard was the only school I could get into at the time for graduate school, but because they didn't require GRE results. And my GRE results back, 2093, or 1993 or so. It looked like I hadn't even gotten out of 7th grade. And so, when I applied to graduate school, I didn't have to give those results, so I was able to get in. And I just kind of by the grace of God, I've been able to have some success. But it was probably I would say 2005 or 2006 when I kind of realized I can do this. I was already a connoisseur. And it just, I don't know what it was about it. When I started studying fermentation science and distillation and blending and all, it clicked. It was the only thing in my life that had ever really clicked in my brain, where I just thought, I get this on a a very deep intuitive level, but now I kind of just have to think why I get it, if that makes sense. So it's probably been about 19 or 20 years, Marty, kind of when I knew that this was my path. And
but it wasn't bourbon blending then, though, was it?
No, it started out as brandy, but the bourbon came later. That's what people drink in the United States, and that has been my bread and butter for my whole career. But yeah, that's kind of what did it.
I'm just waiting for you to come back to East Tennessee and play that thing right back there.
What's that again?
I said I'm just waiting for you to come back to East Tennessee and play that right back there.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's that
Country Gentleman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Yeah, that's.
I mean, we can have some pours with it,
Yeah, but you know what? I will. Come to Tennessee ready to play some guitar.
Nancy,
you're retired, right? You got plenty of time.
Well, I'm just quote retired from Magnus.
I know.
Nancy, have you ever thought about writing a book?
Oh, good question.
Yeah, I've thought about that. I just don't know what I would write. Actually, I've had a lot of adventures in my career. I had some real adventures in places in the world, where I've been working. But that would be, I could do it at some point, maybe.
I think right now you feel like you don't know if you could pull it off, but you have so much insight into the industry and things that you've done. Something small to you may be massive to your audience, right? So it'd be cool. I'd have you sign every single page, all 500 pages of it.
Well, it'd be a kind of a series of stories. I think it's kind of how I'd tell it, because I've had some just real adventures out there around the world. I've worked in. It just dawned on me when I was in the UK. I've now worked on blends from 10 countries,
Wow.
not including the United States. And so I've done a lot of travel with it too, kind of in between my responsibilities of blending at various distilleries. But it's been an adventure, and I really can't wait to kind of announce what's coming next for me. And again, that should be a few weeks down the road, but I'm very excited about that.
All right, guys. Any last questions for Nancy before she gets out of here? We've had her for 2 solid hours, which is unreal.
All I know is my notebook is getting more full by the minute.
Really? Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you have no idea. I'm just waiting for the Nancy cigar versus bourbon or whiskey pairing. That's what I'm waiting on.
Oh,
Pipe.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out and smoke this special thing tonight. Yeah, that's
because I think that's an art in itself. People talk about blending and stuff, but pairing a cigar and a good bourbon together, I am quickly learning that there's a method to the madness, and it's not always mild to heavy or heavy to mild. Sometimes it's mild to mild.
Yeah.
Match. It's insane to me. So
it is, and I don't have a cigar right here, but it's y'all that are smoke cigars probably know. It depends on if you kind of break it into 3 quarters or through 3 not quarters, but 3 parts of a cigar. You've got the first part that's going to pair a certain way, with a bourbon, the second part, and then the third part too. So, and it just kind of gets a little heavier and more intense as you go through that cigar. There was a quickly, but before I kind of check out and go have my supper, there was something about Luca from 7-3, a question that came in. I wanted to kind of address. Oh yeah, is there anything that's coming out from 7-3? Yes, and the answer to that question is yes, and I don't know at the moment if I'm at liberty to talk about it, though. Unfortunately, I know that kind of leaves things hanging there, but second, third, and of course, the final third is magical on a cigar. Yeah, amen to that.
I've got one question and then just kind of one comment, I guess. So when you get ready to, when you're at liberty to announce this new chapter, can you make that announcement here live on Whiskey Nose?
Yes, I can, and I'd be pleased to. And the moment that I'm at liberty to do it, I will definitely let you all know. I kind of have to wait for things to finalize.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah,
lastly, you've been so generous with coming on this channel umpteen times, and that when the last time you were on was very shortly before you getting ready to leave for England, and I talked to Marty and got your info, and I have a pipe smokers, pipe lovers care package coming to you here in the very near future.
Awesome. I would so appreciate that. Man, that's I would love that. I think pipe related to Randall. I don't know if he recognizes.
Oh yeah,
pipe right here that came from he brought back 40 years ago. I've really been enjoying this. But yeah, and anything pipe related, I'm just all over. I've really been going back to my pipe again, and I think I've mentioned I first became a pipe smoker back in 1989. when I was turned on to it. And my first pipe was a Peterson, and unfortunately, my friend that turned me on to it committed suicide. Not to get all kind of down on that, but yeah, checked out a few years ago. So that pipe is really important to me. But I've really kind of been going more. I mean, I love cigars. Don't get me wrong, but I've really kind of been enjoying the pipe path lately, and been sitting out under my deck under the redwood trees at night, and just really enjoying my pipe.
Beautiful.
Do you have a certain blend you smoke consistently, or do you mix around on your pipe blends?
She's an English lover. English.
I love kind of like English.
Well, that package should be good. Toby knows the answer already, so
That's
She basically smokes what I smoke, which is English, mild, medium.
That's it. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I love, what I've done pretty much my whole years of smoking. Not that I've certainly kind of branched out a little bit over the years, kind of gone into more aromatic tobaccos and such, but I just always kind of come back to the same place. I just kind of like a little bit more of that mild to medium kind of English Cavendish type of style.
What would you enjoy with this thing?
Oh, is that a natural egg?
Oh my god! Oh my god! What the hell?
Yes,
I love that. That's cool.
Dude, I haven't seen one of those. I had one of those in college as a joke one time, and it blew my world. That was awesome.
He held that up. I thought it was a sweet potato.
That is a natural egg.
It looks like a sweet potato.
It did look like
it's been sitting in my humidor for probably a couple years now. It may not be any good, but I don't know what to do. I couldn't finish that thing. So
how the hell do you just cut both ends and light one and suck the other? What I mean, how the hell does it work?
Well, so one end's actually already cut.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That's the end you start. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah.
That's called an egg from Natural. And the only reason I know that is one of the first cigars I ever had. They had a vanilla nougat one in a glass tube, and it was supposed to be better than the Davidoff version. And so my buddy bought that for me as my first cigar, and I loved it. A little too sweet for me, but I loved it. So I got caught up in that brand, and I saw those eggs, and I got one time, and I didn't make it through it. I got about 2/3 through it, and I was done. When it opens up, man, whew, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
I'm still pretty novice to cigars, but I definitely enjoy them.
Oh, I can tell you this: all my old Doms, man, everything's a damn Maduro for me. On that rich, thick cherry cola sugar, man, it hits right. I'm just telling you, I love the bold, and then when you get on the back end of that cigar and that damn pepper spice starts kicking in.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really say much, Matt, the other day because I'm still going to review it, but I cracked that damn double oaked with one of my heavy Maduras, and Lord, I was damn back there running around the backyard with my shirt off. It's so damn good. I'm telling you.
Hey, Marty, I'm on my third bottle of the 263rd.
From B&B?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Good, ain't it?
Dude, that thing's great. For the price point, I don't know if there's anything that matches it right now.
We'll get with Matt later.
Yeah.
I'm just
glad they brought it in locally because I've been asking them for years, but they finally.
They got the bottle and bond too, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, they got the whole lineup.
Because last time I was there, they had the 263 and the bottle and bond. I bought 2 of the 263s, one to give away when we had Matt and the guys on, Evan, and then I got one for me, but I didn't get the bottle and bond. But this weekend,
they've got 2 more in now.
Right.
Yeah, they've sold it really well. I mean, I might have pushed it every time I've gone in, but
Well, you should.
and I know Matt doesn't know me, but I'm a fan.
You need to. I'll
Appreciate
tell you this: they need to. If it's the same thing, and I'm sorry to bore everybody, but if it's in the same place on the shelf that it was when I was there, they need to move it.
No, so it's sitting up front with the picks.
Yeah. I need to send Nancy one of those.
Oh, wow. Well, so
95.
barrel 95, I take it was.
At that time,
It's
it was
a
the
7-year now, ain't it, Matt?
I wish if it was still in the barrel. At that time, it was the oldest thing that we had bottled.
You told that's it. That's what I
Yeah.
knew.
Every barrel that we have between 1 and 100, we've set aside what's left of them. There's probably 30 of them, maybe, but we set those aside for our first 10-year. But we have a ton of stuff turning 6 and 7 years old, as far as our pot distillate. And that Tennessee whiskey at 7 years old is ridiculous. Do you think the bourbon's good at that 7-year mark? Tennessee whiskey is ridiculous.
Dude, I'm excited about that.
Mm.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
And I'll be
finally listening, and they're bringing in different things, but they brought in that Old Glory, and they were selling Old Dom picks like they were candy. And as soon as yours hits the shelf, I was like, hey, just move it right here by the Old Dom, sample it with it, please. Just do it. And all of a sudden it started taking off. I was like, yep, I told you. I said, for that price point, for that barrel, it's great.
If you go,
that's one of the better Old Glories I've had. And I'm not like Travis Robeson, some of these other guys. I don't have a ton that I've had, but I love that bottle.
This is behind me here is just about every single barrel that I've saved from the distillery. This row's open, but everything else is closed. So,
oh wow, yeah, I'm not as well versed in them, but the few that I've had have been delicious, and I love the price point and what you're doing. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next. I mean, I'll be honest, and I'm trying to get my store to do more picks of it so that I have access to it.
And everybody loves our pot distillate, and we're just about out of it as far as a bulk.
So here's the thing about this picture, everybody. What you don't know is that Matt is actually sitting on the toilet, and that's just the wall behind his toilet right there.
That'd be pretty funny.
I mean, hell, he's got a leather back on his toilet. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Marty, you missed it. You were supposed to hit the flush sound effect right at that time.
I don't know if I've got that. I don't have that.
That's the bidet.
Jordans are worth a lot more than some of those bottles.
Oh, yeah. The Alaskas.
I got a pair. I got the original ones that they released in Europe like 3 years ago. Not my size, but it's sitting in my closet. It's a size 12.
I've
Mashing Drum was like, you should just sell them. So I'm like, I'll sit on them.
I've recently got into sneakers. I needed something to do besides bourbon.
Jesus, you fell into that rabbit hole, did you?
It's right there. I'm new to the brand. Do y'all do a bunch of different finishes or things like that? Are you experimenting with them yet? Or
so the only thing we've done is a double oak. It's the only thing we've done so far. We put a 4-year bourbon into a sherry cask, and it's been sitting in that cask for 2.5 years now. Just slowly drawing out that sherry. It's ready to go. It's on the list to dump and put out there.
Nice.
I mean, we have 100% corn, 100% rye, 100% wheat, aging. I think it'd be cool to do a blend with all three of those one day. Yeah. And then, yep. I mean, that's how they do. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nancy, but that's how they do it in like Scotland, maybe Irish whiskey. Don't they distill individual grains and blend that?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Our big thing this year is we're releasing our 250th. It's going to be a bottled in bond, and then this year's our 10th anniversary, so we're gearing up for a 4 grain probably for that.
Oh,
And then our Tennessee Whiskey Double Oak. It'll be 6.5 years old, roughly in the 130s. So should be interesting. And then the thing that everybody asks us about is the rye. We're sitting on a bunch of 8-year-old rye, and we haven't even started really going through it yet. We pulled down 2 barrels. One was okay, and the other one was awesome. So, we need to go through those at some point.
I'm looking forward to those double oaks. I love double oaks, so
Yeah.
I can't wait till that comes out. And if you do an ice wine, I might.
What
be
do you
a
mean when
little
it comes
bit of
out?
ice wine. So
Nancy, I know you're tired. I know you've had a big day. I know you've been tasting all day long. I know you're wore out, and
Yes,
I know
sir.
you need to go. You need to go eat. I can tell by the look on your face. And Travis just texted me and said you need to let Nancy go, and he's right. So I want to say, everybody, hold up your glass and congratulate Nancy on her retirement from the blending at Magnus. But there are still great things to come because the company's left in good hands. So cheers to you. Thanks for everything. We'll get you back on soon.
I'm deeply cheers. Yeah, that
Clank.
deeply appreciate it, gentlemen, and that's it's been fun, hanging out as usual. I'll get back with you in the next day or so,
Sure.
cousin.
Yep,
And,
no worries.
But go have a great time, and I want to watch the rest of this episode later too. But I'm starving right now. Yeah,
I know.
sad to see.
Go eat.
So, all right. Well, thanks. And Randall. By the way, later tonight after I eat, I'm gonna have some of your that pipe you sent me. So, which I love. He sent me 3 pipes, which I'm just so been enjoying those pipes. But anyway, cheers, fellas, and see y'all soon. And it's
cheers, Nancy.
good. So
Good night, Nancy. Thank you very much.
Love you,
all
Nancy.
right, over and out. And God, I love that Gretsch back there. That's
There you go.
man, I love it. Okay, bye.
right.
Bye.
See you.
Later. Hot.
Oh, good old Nancy. She's something else, buddy.
Dude, that's great.
I keep telling her she's got to get her shit together. She doesn't listen. I mean, she's getting close to where she needs to be. I mean, hellfire. No. This hobby of ours would not be where it is by any means without her. Hands down. Hands down. She has set the standard on blending and finished barrels like nobody else. So,
And I think she goes underrated. I mean, I think in our community, people know her and stuff, but mainstream, I just think what she does goes over people's head, and they don't realize how good she actually is.
right.
You could almost do the 6 degrees of Nancy Fraley, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what, Matt brought up one of the best, I guess, requests we've ever had with her on here about her writing a book.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a killer idea, Matt. I mean, because that's something you could always have to go back to and learn, especially in young whiskey and people getting on their journey. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And people bombard you with questions and want to know this and want to know that, and might be an easy way to kind of spread some knowledge. And I haven't picked up a book in a very, very long time, and I bought Fred Minnick's new book, and I've absolutely enjoyed it. So it's fun. Me and Fred are almost the same person as far as where we grew up and how we grew up and everything else. So pretty cool.
Hey, Marty, Toby, the rest of you guys, I'm gonna bounce, but I appreciate you guys having the invite. Especially
Charlie.
Hey, Charlie,
And
let's talk about
for
that
everybody
keg.
watching and listening, Marty Whiskey Nose and Charlie Bourbon and Balls, we got a big joint stream we're doing on June 2nd from 8 to 9. the bourbon and balls, and then they pass it over to us, and it's going to be all McBrayer all night long as we let Bill talk about the 250th, and we've got some barrel picks coming out from McBrayer, so it's going to be a great
all-nighter.
It's going to be the best of the good. We're going to cross the streams in the Ghostbusters terms.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to do.
It'll be a fun time. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Good night,
Charlie.
Charlie.
All right, we'll see y'all.
Cheers, guys. All right, let's give away some whiskey, man. We got all kind. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 giveaways tonight. Thank you, Kevin O, Trey, Toby. Who am I missing? Hack threw a bottle in. That's awesome. So, all right, let me get the wheel up. Share screen. Random wheel of names. All right. Everybody see that? Correct. 84 entries. Awesome. All right. Let's see. Let's give the Jepson's Benny's pick away. That's a 10-year, right, Kevin?
Yes, it's a 10-year MGP. I'm pretty sure.
I guarantee you this is a banger. So that is from Kevo. Thank you so much. Kevin, how many times do you want me to shuffle for this one?
Let's do it 7 times.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Smoking will kill you. It's all right. You got it. Good luck, everybody, and thank you all for everything. Timber, email me your info, whiskeynose21@gmail.com. All right. Let's do the I got it here somewhere. The Legends of the Oak flight board. Here we go. I don't know if you can see it or not, but here it is. Top Dog made me a bunch of these. These are awesome, man, for your flights. Let's give that away. We stick them with 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good luck for the flight board. Hellfire, I can hand deliver that. Kevin Pierce.
Yes, Pierce.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Remove. All right. Let's go next to the Toby Still Austin 2024 bottle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good luck, everybody.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah. Get it, William.
Guys, you talk about a good dude, man.
Mm-hmm.
We got to get William back on here. He's just so down to earth. Let's see. Let's do the William LaRue sample. Trey, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good luck on this banger.
Can't crack it on stream and not share it.
There we go.
Oh, you cracked it? I thought it was open when you did that.
No, that was a fresh crack.
Look here.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
Oh, William Hole.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
That's Trey just trying to bury my fucking bottle behind his William Leroy Weller sample.
That's right. Let's give away the Tanager. Is that 1 or 2, Trey, on the Tanager?
Number 2.
Number 2, guys. Good luck. Trey, thanks for doing this, man. This is killer. Damn
I
packed
did.
here.
Number
I
2.
got them. I want to share them.
No!
Jerk.
The jerk.
Yeah.
I got a bottle I'll throw in if you want to throw another one in.
Yeah, man, we'll do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is for the King of Kentucky batch 2 from Trey.
Sean or Doc.
Oh,
Yeah.
By a hair.
All right. We've got the Gaucho Still Austin pick. I've had some of it tonight, and it is fantastic leather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I will let the Hackster know. Thank you for donating that, buddy. That's really cool.
Jerks again?
Oh, wow.
Nice. Tom, it's cleaning up.
Back to back.
All right, Matt, what do you want to do, buddy?
All right. I have a 6-year, 8-month, 132 proof queen share.
Hold on.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh shit, queen share.
is it too late to get in on the wheel?
Yeah, I was gonna say, Vic.
It's
Yeah.
it's signed by Nick, our master distiller, and Matt, the founder.
Wow.
Nice.
All right, boys. 1, 2.
This.
Let's go. Diamond Dave.
Diamond Dave.
Nice.
Great bottle.
I'll send you info.
Yeah, man.
Man, those queen share bottles are killer.
Damn, that's awesome. What a killer giveaway, guys. Thank you all for all
That
that.
was great.
What a good stream, man.
Had Nancy and Matt on.
Yeah, I got
Stuck
back.
with the tail, but,
I landed at 10 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock Sunday morning. Came home, laid down for 3 or 4 hours. Kurt texted. He goes, "Let's go to the PR." And I was like, "All right." So we go. Jenny stays in bed. We get up there and we have a few. And he goes, "Let's go back to the office and drink some." And I was like, "Well, this shit's going to hit the fan because, if I end up at Kurt's office." So anyway, long story short, he was asking me about Nancy. I said, "Well, shit, we'll just call her." I called Nancy. And we got to talking. I was like, "What are you doing Tuesday?" "Well, I don't know. What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Well, I'll tell you what we want to do." And she's like, "I'll be there." So, yeah, cheers to Nancy, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I wanted to share real quick a bottle that I got today. I went
Yeah,
over
buddy.
to Wild Turkey.
Here we go. Here we go.
And this is available. This is a single barrel distiller's pick of 101. It's a C&D. It is amazing.
Knock it
It's
off.
amazing.
Just show them the bottle that you want to show them.
And it's the same distillery that this one came from. So,
Bye.
Oh man. Oh man.
in all honesty, this is an amazing.
Listen,
amazing
Toby
single
sent me
barrel that's
one
available.
2 years ago that blew my mind from the every time Toby goes, he buys a distillery pick for that reason. Because they're very good and they're all different from different.
So
warehouses.
I don't buy multiples. I bought 3 of these because
They let you? Because normally those are limit 1. That's great. They let you.
Yeah. I mean, this is like if you're in Kentucky and you stop by Wild Turkey, like this is there right now. This is absolutely amazing.
So
Dude, I
basically
love the
what that
fact
is.
you can try that bottle at the bar right there in the gift shop before you buy
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
it. I love that. Like I wish
Yeah.
all the distilleries did that.
Hello.
Well,
If they
and,
did,
I mean,
I'd probably buy a
basically,
whole lot more.
it's a single barrel 101. But every time I go, but it's normal day in, day out.
Sheesh.
Go ahead.
It
Kevin.
comes from the same distillery or the same. It's C&D where all of the bottles for this came from. And honestly, you could tell. Like, obviously, this is crazy, but it's really good. It's really good and available. So
Those single barrel 101s though. I mean, one, I'm really happy they put them in the rare breed bottle. Sets them apart. They're only available at the distillery. And so, yeah, anytime I go in, I just get one because they make great gifts because a lot of people don't have the opportunity to get to the distillery. They don't break the bank. And they're always good to very good. So
I think that's what I like about them the most is they don't. It's a good price and they're always solid. Like you're never disappointed in that private select.
$80. So I really wasn't going to brag, but I guess I did. But seriously, this is amazing.
So Toby, you going to Wild Turkey anytime soon?
I got some if you want them. They're back here.
Yeah,
I didn't realize until I started digging everything out.
I missed my trip to Kentucky a few weeks ago, so I'm kind of jonesing.
I was up there last week to do a pick, and this is my fifth fifth time being there, fourth or fifth time. Still the worst picking experience on the trail. And
At Turkey?
no, it was in Frankfurt.
Oh,
Oh,
what are you talking
yeah.
about?
I mean, what did they give you? 3? Isn't that the?
They gave, so we did a buffalo and a Weller. All the buffalo samples were trash. I told the store owner not to buy them.
How many did they give you? I've heard they only give you 3, and that's
well,
it.
if you're going there for just Buffalo Trace, they'll give you 4. But if you're picking multiple barrels, you're only limited to so much for a tasting. So they
Oh, shit.
they don't give you all of it. So
You know, I'm
Hey, man, I was on a pick this
store.
last Saturday at Hard Truth, or not Hard Truth, but at Backbone. There was no limit.
yeah.
Oh my
That
gosh.
shit just got poured and poured and poured and poured and poured.
I finally got my local store to say no. Like, I'm like, just
Thank
because
God.
somebody says, hey, here's a single barrel you can pick from,
I'll be right
I'm
back.
like, if it's not good, you don't like it, don't buy it.
Right.
Hey, Trey, I got to give you a heads up. Empire will have the full, our picks and the full line of McBrayer tomorrow.
It's already on order.
So I was going to say, you need to, if you haven't already, B&B, Liquor Vault, and Christie's, let them know it will be in Nashville tomorrow. That means
they already have
and
their
they just
order
have to-
in, and I'm pretty sure Christie's and Liquor Vault's going to clean them out.
Okay.
What is it? McBrayer?
McBrayer. So they ordered all of our 2 picks, the old McBrayer and Cedarbrook, and then more on top of that, the 8-year, the 100-proof Cedarbrook, and the Judge. The only thing, I mean, Bill told me, I was on the phone with him earlier, and it's a huge order. But I mean, it's like 160 or 180 cases, something like that, across what, five SKUs or something.
Well,
But hey, the only one that's up in that's a question mark is the 250th, and so anyway, I hope that they order some 250th too. But you know,
well, I haven't mentioned that one to them because I didn't know if that was going to be available to them. But I do know Christie's and Liquor Vault are picking up the whole line. I know B&B is doing our picks in 2 of the everyday shelfers. They're going to keep in stock. If the Judge does well, they'll try to keep it if they can get it. But I pretty much know Christie's and Liquor Vault's probably going to buy 90% of it.
Okay, well, that's fine.
I mean, it's going to be gone. They're going to pick it up. It's going to be gone within a week. I mean, so, and you know, Bill's probably
I had
have
that
to do
conversation
some,
with Bill
little
today.
kissing and shaking hands of babies and kissing people. And
I told him, I said, Bill, you got to be careful because he's already now talking about bringing on another state. And I said, you got to be able to scale up, and you know, because he and I've had a number of discussions about how much inventory they have and how quickly they can react. And I said, the last thing you want to do is run yourself out of whiskey.
You don't don't get me wrong. I love K. Luke. My problem with K. Luke is I have sold the distributor out 6 times here at my local store, and they get all of East Tennessee's allocation for K. Luke, right? Mm-hmm. Imagine how many stores they could hit for East Tennessee if they could keep it stocked.
Right.
You know, every time it comes in, they get it within a week. They're gone. They're out at the store. You're talking $100 to $120 a bottle. And, you know, I hope McBrayer doesn't do. I hope McBrayer gets to the point where it's like, hey, we're going to get this region. We're going to keep them in stock, readily available. As we grow, we build up a little bit more here, a little bit more here.
Well, McBrayer,
you got to ramp up. He's got to ramp up production. And I told him, I said, Bill, you just opened up Tennessee with the major distributor in Tennessee. And there's 3 huge markets in Tennessee between Knoxville, Memphis, and Nashville. And I said, those 3 could very likely, you know, be all you can handle right now.
Well, the funny thing is where he got hooked up. So Empire is very competitive across the state with each other. So the guy that's ahead of Nashville, Memphis, and some of Arkansas and Mississippi, he's in he's in competition with the guy that has East Tennessee, a little bit of Georgia and South Carolina, right? And they're trying to bring on new brands to compete with each other who can sell more. So East Tennessee brought on McBrayer. As soon as it catches on, the West Side's going to be like, we want it. Bring it on. I mean, it's kind of like what I did with Old Glory. I got him into B&B, and now Christie's is like, who's that? What do you have up there? Because I took them some, Matt, you don't know this. I took them samples of your stuff, even though it wasn't a pick. And because it's good. Like, if it's good to me, I want people to have it. I want to get it out there. And if I'm going down, I've sampled a bunch of stuff to them. And hopefully they get on board if it's available. I don't know your distribution and how much is out there.
So we should be in all of Tennessee.
I know you are, but I don't think every store carries you in my area. Does that make sense?
Okay. You live in
that's their problem.
Tri-Cities, and think of Knoxville, Tri-Cities. Just that.
Okay.
Northeast.
That's my connections, right? And a lot of those stores might know who you are, but I don't think all of them carry. They might carry one SKU.
Our biggest problem is the first 7 years of being a distillery, we were only just locally distributed, and they kind of kept it that way until the whiskey got better and the products got better, and from there we kind of started expanding. 2 years ago when I joined, we were still in the Montgomery County area, working to get into Nashville. So we've taken this slow route. So what I'm trying to say in short or long, I guess, is nobody really knows us. And up until, I started bugging everybody about Old Glory. I don't think nobody really knew who we were. So I think that's one of our biggest.
But I mean, I think you have going with that is, you've gone slow. You're doing it the right way. And, I look at McBrayer, I look at you, and I look at a few other ones, and Old Dom is one of those. They didn't just go national and say, hey, here's what we got. And they out expanded what they could do in-house and keep quality control and keep it good. And because of that, you've kept a tight grip on quality control. It's going to pay off. It's just a slower process.
Oh, for sure.
And I think, when I got B&B to get your, whatever their single barrel that they brought in, I was really impressed because it had been a while since I'd had an Old Glory, just because no one sells it in my area. And when I had it again, I was like, man, this is solid. And I think Marty picked up a barrel or two, and it's gotten to the point where my store's like, okay, you brought in K-Luke, you brought in this, you brought in a couple different brands, and they're solid, great performers. And your price point is probably better than most outside of McBrayer. I mean, I think you guys kind of go hand in hand, but most of the bottles I bring in are around that $100 range. And it's been trying for them to sell it at that price point, because my area is they don't want to spend that kind of money. They're used to the $20 to $50 range, right? But when you start getting quality, they go, I don't mind spending 50, 60, 70 bucks.
Well, it depends on who's in the store when you get there to do a tasting, to bring it to the market. And as far as anybody else knows, we're just another Tennessee distillery that nobody's ever heard of, and hopefully sell our stuff,
Well, the other thing you compete with up here is we have a local distiller that's done fairly well all around. Does he hit home runs on just bourbons? I mean, he's got some solid stuff out there, but he started with moonshines, vodkas, gins, that route. And he does seltzers and beers, and he does amazing with that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And his bourbons and whiskeys are starting to take off, and they're solid. They really are. And he's got his own distillate now. But I don't think that's his passion as far as a whole, and that's the difference. It's kind of like you go to a steakhouse to get a steak. You don't go to a seafood restaurant and order steak. I mean, you just don't. So
I do recommend, though, if you ever go to Joe's Stone Crab to get the bone-in ribeye, it is the best steak that I've ever had in my life.
I was going to say,
Stone Crab.
Hey,
get the
Darrell.
bone-in ribeye, or excuse me, bone-in fillet, and you'll be like, damn, Kevin was right.
What happened?
Hey, Darrell, I brought to Rhode Island, I brought that bottle of Early Times that Dan got Frankenberries off of. We were all passing it around. I left it in Rhode Island. Did you take it with you?
I don't have that.
Katie, Ethan?
I want to say
Jonathan?
might have been John or maybe Payho. I have the larrikin.
Was it a pig
No, it's just a regular.
Early Times, bottle and bond.
with
regular.
Frankenberry?
No, it was Dan. It was a bottle that when Dan, we were doing the Prices Right or whatever, and I just bought a bottle of Early Times because at that time, all my shit was packed up.
Yeah.
And I just grabbed this one off a shelf. I used it in the blind, and it's just a really good bottle of Early Times. And we were the first night in Rhode Island. There's 100 bottles of badass shit, and everybody's passing around this Early Times. Anyway, I want to get it back because I have a plan for Dan's birthday. So I don't know if we can track it down or whatever.
I'll text Jonathan. I've got Jonathan's number. I'll text
It's
him. Right
either
now.
Jonathan Payho.
Don't text him, Marty. He's sick.
Oh, I don't
Jonathan
know.
Wait till
Payho.
tomorrow.
Okay.
It's one of the three. It may actually be Payho.
Okay.
Um,
If we can get it, if I can get whatever's left of it back, I mean, as long as there's a decent amount, I don't want a freaking quarter inch in the bottom of the bottle.
yeah.
But,
I can message him tomorrow and find out. I remember somebody talking about it though, so I do know that. So I know somebody took it. I don't have that one. I had got the larrikin and it was a I want to say elkwood. Those are the two that were laying it around that I grabbed.
Which larrikin did you grab?
You would know.
gold label or purple label?
It was a purple label single barrel.
That's just a 9-year. That's our pick. That's a 9-year bottle and bond, or not bottle and bond, 9-year single barrel.
I about to say that's a bottle and bond. That's whew. No.
No.
I went to Larrikin.
That's a layered bomb.
And I
That's
tried
single barrel.
Rosewater. It was surprisingly pretty tasty. That Rosewater Larrikin. I thought it was going to be like, whatever.
I don't care for it, but there are people that do. Yeah.
The Rosewater.
It was surprisingly like tasty. I was like, oh wow, this is really good.
Hey guys, stay right here. We're going to kill the live. It's been almost 3 hours, so let's kill the live. Let's stay here backstage.
I had the larrikin.
Let's see. Hello again, Whiskey Friends tomorrow night, Darrell, correct?
Yes. Just hanging out, nothing crazy.
Okay. Yeah, so hello again, Whiskey Friends. Jason will go. I already texted Darrell, see if Belinda Geddon's going tomorrow night. It's not. Darrell said it's still a few weeks out. I was ready. But
it's a good probably a month out. Probably
really?
At least.
Damn.
But the finals, yeah, because it's the finals, right? So he'll do like maybe Jeffries and Bull's Wine Guy. They're what is it? Like they're not the
wild card.
Wild card, yeah. He'll maybe do that tomorrow or the next week, but the finals isn't going to be for. I would imagine at least
Matt and Fred
coordinate the giveaway. He has to probably get Matt, Minnick, on the same page. So it's going to be some time for the finals.
All right. Well, we'll be looking forward to that. I know y'all are anticipating it like no other.
I can't wait.
I know, man.
Darrell, stick around for a minute after we kill the stream. I got to ask you one more thing.
Yep.
Gotcha, buddy.
But, yeah, guys, next week will be a double live, technically, with Bill McBrayer. We hope Brian and his dad can join. We don't know that yet until that day or that night when they jump on, so we'll see what happens. We'll be tasting through our picks. Bourbon and Balls will start at 8 o'clock. We'll be there. they'll do their giveaway. Then we're going to do a different one here on Whiskey Nose with all that stuff. So it'll be 8 to 9. We'll be 9 to probably 11. So everybody in the wheel, thank you so much, Kevin, Trey, Toby, Matt, everybody that donated. That's freaking amazing. Guys, check out Old Glory if you haven't yet. It's right here. So with that being said, guys, whiskey may not solve all your problems, but it's worth a shot. We'll see you right here next time on the Whiskey Nose. Cheers, everybody.